Leaked audio doesn't usually shake hip-hop culture anymore. After so many secret recordings, surprise diss tracks, and courtroom phone taps, fans think they've heard every twist. But when an unreleased interview of Jay-Z resurfaced, with him laughing at Jim Jones, calling him a bench player screaming at Jordan, the internet paused. Not because Hove clowned somebody, he's done that before. The shock was what he implied next, that Jim's real role in rap wasn't musical at all. Listeners instantly rewound the clip, searching for hidden meaning, especially the way Jay delivered the line. Calm, almost bored, like he wasn't talking about a rival MC, but about a nuisance who plays an entirely different game. Within hours, #individual1 was trending again. The same hashtag 50 Cent pushed years ago when federal paperwork linked a mysterious Jim Jones to wiretapped instructions about super violating Tekashi 6ix9ine. Hip-hop Twitter demanded answers. Is Jim really a street general? Or did Jay just yank the curtain on a quiet deal with the feds? To understand why that one snippet rattled so many cages, you need to rewind to the fall of 2019, inside a wood-paneled federal courtroom on Pearl Street. Cameras weren't allowed, but journalists typed furiously as Daniel Tekashi 6ix9ine Hernandez pointed at former 9 Trey Bloods, naming names like Anthony Harv Ellison and Aljamiah Nuke Mack. It was snitching in high definition. Then prosecutors hit play on a phone call. The voice telling 9 Trey captains that Tekashi gotta get violated belonged to Jim Jones. The gallery inhaled. Everyone expected an indictment. Instead, the next day, Jones posted Jim selfies and never saw cuffs. Fans shrugged at first. Maybe feds saved him for later. But months passed. Sentences were handed out, and Jim kept touring, filming Love and Hip Hop cameos, rapping about capo status, like no wiretap ever existed. 50 brushed it off until 6ix9ine got released. Then he blasted an Instagram side-by-side, Jim sandwiched between Jay-Z, Diddy, and Fat Joe, under the caption, LOL, individual1 calling the shots out here. Please don't say gangster shit to me. Suddenly old forum threads resurfaced, quoting sealed documents where individual1 allegedly cooperated in previous matters, helping prosecutors decode 9 Trey jargon. Whack 100 jumped on Clubhouse to hammer the allegation. Miss me with that street talk. How you survive a Fedwire and everybody else got decades, he asked. Former Dipset affiliate Jaja went further. She claimed Jim orchestrated Mel Murda's downfall by steering calls to a tapped line. Did she show certified court exhibits? No, but the seed was planted. Capo was dirty. The sting of being branded an informant would crush most rappers. But Jim doubled down on bravado. He live-streamed from Harlem barbershops, ripping snitch culture, bragged he'd never worn handcuffs, and mocked anyone afraid to hustle because niggas tellin' so much. The contradictions wrote themselves. How can a man rail against rats when half the blogosphere thinks he's the biggest? That's when a new wrinkle appeared, one that drags Jay-Z squarely into the mess. Enter Desiree Perez, Roc Nation's chief executive officer. The woman who sits 2 seats behind Hove in every courtside photo. A superstar dealmaker today, she once cut the NFL social justice partnership that birthed Jay's "We've moved past kneeling" soundbite. Yet public records show she was arrested in 1994, trying to move 35 kilos of Colombian cocaine through Miami. Facing decades, she flipped, wore a wire for the DEA, and testified against traffickers. In 2021, Donald Trump erased the conviction with a last-minute pardon after Roc Nation's lobbying. Suddenly, Jay's circle contains a confirmed informant, one who touches every part of the empire, from Meek Mill's Reform Alliance to Rihanna's Fenty management. That revelation reframes Jay's barb at Jim. Maybe he wasn't exposing anything new. Maybe he was reminding the streets how selective rap morality really is. It's easy to cancel 6ix9ine because he bragged about it in rainbow hair and courtroom tears. Harder when the accused is a savvy executive who cuts 8-figure NFL checks, or a Harlem legend whose catalog still thumps in strip clubs. None of this history mattered the night Jim decided to poke another legend, Nasir Jones. On an episode of the Joe Budden and Jada podcast, he shrugged. My son couldn't name one Nas record, dismissing Illmatic's influence as stuck in 1994. Within hours, hip-hop elders roasted Jim's whole resume, posting Spotify graphs showing Nas collecting Grammys while Jim's numbers stalled. Instead of retreating, Jim went to Shannon Sharpe's nightcap and tripled down, calling himself way more influential than Nas. The culture laughed, then quickly pivoted back to the bigger scent. So, picture Roc Nation as a high-rise with mirrored windows. From the street, you see reflections, power lunches, brunch photos, gold bottles. But you can't peer inside to know which conversations are genuine brotherhood, which are insurance policies. Signing Jim may not be forgiveness. It could be containment. Bring the potential informant inside so any loose statements benefit your legal shield, not a prosecutor's. If that sounds paranoid, recall Jay's infamous line, "I'm decades ahead of my peers." He's not talking about rap counts. He's talking about chess pieces no one knows exist until checkmate. Still, optics matter. Hip-hop was built on the mythology of no-snitch honor codes. Fans watched Tekashi's streaming numbers slip once his cooperation hit court dockets. They watched Troy Ave's credibility die after he testified about the Irving Plaza shootout. Yet Perez's career soared after her cooperation, and Jay's too. Corporate clout apparently grants pardon the streets rarely offer artists. That double standard is why the latest leak stings. Jay can dismiss Jim as irrelevant, but the facts show both names orbit informant controversy. One documented, one alleged. Meanwhile, Jim keeps running uphill. He tosses Drake and Pusha T disses, begs for rock brunch invites, flashes Ace of Spades bottles on Instagram Live. It feels like overcompensation, a loud attempt to drown whispers he can't outrun. Even his fashion sense, neon ski goggles in summer, gaudy high-end leather, screams, "See me, believe me, I'm still here." But the louder he flexes, the more bloggers link back to that phone tap. Could all those contradictions be coincidence? Possibly. Maybe he really did dodge charges because the feds lacked enough evidence. Maybe Jay truly believes in second chances and values hustle over mistakes. Yet hip-hop rarely accepts simple answers. Every line gets decoded like scripture, every silence treated like strategy, and the math isn't adding up. Consider, Jim's rap sheet stretches from 2006, a Texas gun bust, to 2018, Georgia drug charge, yet real prison time never sticks. He isn't a mega seller like Drake who can afford OJ-level legal dream teams. Something else insulates him. Desiree's pardon shows federal agencies do make deals when bigger fish swim nearby. If Jim offered intelligence on 9 to save himself, that'd align with why prosecutors ignored his super violate tape. He gave them Tekashi, a bigger headline, and walked. Now layer that theory on Jay's empire. Suppose Roc Nation prized Jim's intel too. Not for street warfare, but for corporate due diligence, navigating entertainment's shady underbelly. An insider who can call Harlem sets and Brooklyn crews to keep tours safe is valuable. Signing him buys both muscle and silence. If DOJ files later leak proving cooperation, Roc deflects, we believe in rehabilitation. And fans eventually move on, as they often do. Which circles back to Jay's clip.
Certain people shouldn't be able to say your name until they've done something in music.
Translation, you don't get to spar with me because I operate on another level.
Yes.
But the subtext might be darker.
I already own you. Your story belongs to Roc Nation NDAs now. You can clown yourself publicly, but the moment you threaten the brand's secrets will remind everyone you're individual one.
So where does that leave hip-hop's cherished no-snitch code? Cracked. Maybe shattered. Audiences still chant "free the real" at shows, but Spotify streams rule, and corporate giants neutralize scandals with press release buzzwords. If Jay, Meek, and Rihanna stand on stage to applaud prison reform while employing a DEA cooperator, listeners shrug. They want new music, not paperwork PDFs. And yet, the streets remember. The same comment threads that blast Tekashi now spotlight Desiree's pardon. The same fans who roasted Gunna over a plea deal ask why Jim never faced trial. The conversation grows uneasy. Maybe our morality is for sale. Maybe it always was, and Jay just mastered the auction earlier than most.
The easiest way to bury that tension would be transparency. Release every deposition, every sealed motion. Let people decide. That won't happen. Too many billion-dollar partnerships ride on polished narratives. Instead, we'll get more brunch photos, more cryptic lines about chess versus checkers, maybe another Roc Nation contract for a former rival who once swore they'd never fold. And Jim? He'll likely keep talking, because talking prolongs relevance. He'll swear he never cooperated, challenge bloggers to show official informant numbers, and post another video from a penthouse balcony yelling "Vamp Life forever."
But the echo won't fade. The leak stitched his name to snitch like an embroidered patch, even if unproven. Every time he calls someone else soft, the internet replies with court documents. That's a stain no Balenciaga goggles can hide. So the next time a leaked audio clip hits your timeline, remember the real game is what you don't hear. You won't find the hushed meeting where Jay-Z weighed profit versus optics before signing a man labeled Individual 1. You won't hear lawyers rehearsing talking points about second chances. All you'll hear is the final mix. Stadium hits, champagne toasts, Jim Jones screaming ballin', while comment sections whisper, "But is he?" Maybe that contradiction is modern hip-hop distilled, street codes quoted like scripture, corporate empires built on exceptions. Or maybe it's the oldest story ever told. Power rewrites every rule, even the one that says you can't sit with snitches. Because when billion-dollar brands need leverage, silence sells for a higher price than loyalty. And Roc Nation seems to have mastered that play since the day Desiree Perez put on a wire. What you believe after all this, whether Jim Jones is a secret informant, whether Jay-Z is a genius strategist or a hypocrite, depends on which voices you trust. Court documents, clubhouse gossip, a billionaire's edited memoir someday? One thing is certain. As long as money, music, and federal cases cross paths, leaked audio won't stop. And every new clip will force us to ask the question Jay brushed off with a smirk. Who really deserves to say whose name?